You don't have to text me, bro. I feel some type of way about that.
All right. What do you guys know about this?
Any numbers?
This map. Does this map mean anything to you? I think more than Frito.
Trump. It says Trump up there.
Mm-hmm.
Countries.
Who's Trump?
Donald Trump, the president.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think this is?
His votes.
Uh-huh.
Wait, those are the vote?
Yeah.
His votes. I don't know
What happens when a state is blue? What does that mean?
He lost.
He lost?
Boy.
Do you know what party is blue? What political party?
No.
No?
You have two parties.
Parties.
Two parties.
Two parties?
There's two main parties in the U.S.
Boston Tea Party?
Nick.
No, I was thinking, he said.
That was a party at one point. Not
Right.
anymore. Not
Two
anymore.
parties.
Oh, I was gonna say.
There's the Republicans,
And
Democrats.
Oh.
Republicans and Democrats. When a state, so every 4 years there's an election. So 2024 we had an election. It was Trump versus Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
This is an older one because I couldn't go onto the actual website with Kamala Harris and Trump's 2024 election. So this is between Hillary Clinton, and Trump. Do you know what year that was?
It's still in 2020s.
That was Biden and Trump. So that was 2020. So what was the election before that? It was every 4 years.
Every 4 years. Yeah, I don't pay attention to that.
No, 2024, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
What's before that? It was going up and down every 4 years.
21? 2021?
2020
2020.
minus 4.
Nice.
What year?
Oh, he has some year that shit. So
I know.
we got some trash. Boom. We gotta use big boy numbers.
What was it?
I said 20.
2020, 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016.
Okay.
So this is 2016. So when a state goes red, that's the Republican Party.
Mhm.
Donald Trump is part of the Republican Party. And this year, and still, Hillary Clinton is part of the Democrat Party. So when a state goes blue, it means they're part of the Democrat Party. When a state goes red, they're part of the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
So saying that, what's your question?
What's the difference between Democrats and Republicans?
Their policies. So the main difference, there's many different policies that the Republicans and Democrats have different opinions on. One is the gun laws in America. Democrats believe that we should have we should get rid of like the weapons basically, where people shouldn't be able to have guns. And according to the Bill of Rights, and what the Republican Party believes, that we should be able to own our own arms. And so that's a big debate. There's many different debates. There's gender equality, which Democrats believe that transgender should have the same rights as like everybody else. And Democrats believe that transgender people should maybe have like different laws about them. The abortion laws are different.
Immigration law.
Say one.
Immigration law.
The immigration laws. That's recently been coming into play since Trump has won. But today we're going to be talking about the Electoral College, because I think it's important for you guys to know just a little bit about what it is and how it works. Does anybody know? So which states do you think have the most power in the presidential elections, and why?
United States.
Which states?
State you. I ain't lied, go for the biggest ones. Texas.
Yeah, I was thinking of.
Take the biggest ones. They like Texas and shit like that.
Texas, yeah. Why Texas?
Texas, yeah.
Because it's the biggest state.
That's what I would go off for.
Yeah. Mars, what about you? Which states do you think have the most power when it comes to electoral votes?
I was gonna say China.
States.
States.
Look to the map.
The map gives you big hint.
I gotta go close.
I'm pretty sure you can get it confused. So like, it's different. I know why you get confused too. I know why you get confused.
So Jonathan thinks that the state with the most power in elections is Texas. Marcus, Ethan, you're gonna have to choose one as well.
Texas.
I already said
I already said Texas.
You can say Texas as well, but you have to tell me why.
Why Texas?
Can I choose something else?
Yeah. Marcus, you choose it. Which state has the most power when it comes to the election?
What's somewhere that I know of?
Is it based off the numbers?
Yes.
Cali.
You're thinking California, and you're saying because of the numbers on the board?
Yeah.
Why do you think that California would have the most numbers?
The more, I don't know.
Say yes. Why? Why do you think that of all the places California would have the most? There must be some sort of reason.
I don't watch politics like that, though.
No, and I don't expect you to, but
I mean, I know I don't, man.
it is important for when you get older because you're gonna be these decisions that are made during elections are gonna be what you're going through in your everyday life.
Oh.
So even though like you could be like, well, it's just one vote, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if every single person was like, oh, it's just one vote, it doesn't matter.
New York.
What do you mean? Okay, New York, yeah. New York has a big. I mean, what do they have? They're 29 on this. They have 29 electoral votes.
Wait, ain't electoral the biggest ones? Like electoral ones? That's the biggest
Electoral votes are just the votes. They're just like
Can our senators vote?
senators. Anybody can vote in the country if they're a citizen of the U.S. And they're above 18.
Oh.
So you guys have never voted before.
No.
Can the president? Can the president
Wait, I
vote
can
for
vote when I'm 18.
for himself?
Once you turn 18, you're allowed to vote.
What the hell am I doing?
Who you vote for?
Not answering that question.
No,
Come on.
Every time I ask a person that, they always say that. Come on, bro. Y'all
I'm
can
not
say it.
answering that question. I feel like it's Trump.
Yeah, how many of you I know they go to
Can't
drill?
answer that question. But I'm trying to teach you all about the electoral college though. Marcus, you can give me an answer. I got two. I got
I'm gonna
Texas
go
and California.
Colorado.
I need something else.
Colorado. I was gonna go with them.
Why?
Just hope.
We don't honestly know why. We just picking.
No, but yeah.
Colorado?
You don't know why for sure, but why did you say Colorado? That's my question.
He been there.
Colorado is my question.
Oh, you recording us?
Honestly.
You guys are being recorded.
Alright, I got this one.
So Colorado,
Colorado?
we see right here.
Look.
Colorado has 9 electoral votes.
Okay.
Why do you think that it should have the most? Hey, did you just say Colorado has like a random state? Or?
Wait, why it should have the most?
Well, you thought it had like it would be the most. Because my question to you was, which state do you think has the most power in an election?
Oh, you changed that. I was gonna go with Mexico. At first, in my head, I was thinking Mexico, then Colorado popped in my head. But
Colorado is not part of the U.S.
Oh, it's not. Oh, you scratched them off. But
I thought New Mexico was part of it.
New Mexico is not Mexico.
oh,
Well, okay, we're gonna move on from this. The correct answer was California. As you can see right here, they have 55 electoral votes.
Oh, you said California? But you lame, you lame. You picked the one with the
It's
big-
called
I don't like
looking
you.
closely at the numbers.
The reason for this,
Look at the
the
number.
reason why California has the most electoral votes, is because of population.
Oh, I got the second best one, then the third one. What? I said
I
New
was
York
choosing
and I
between
said New York
Cali
and
and
Texas.
So usually,
I said Texas.
the bigger states are gonna have like a bigger population because they have more land. But we look at Alaska, which is the biggest state in the U.S., and they have an electoral votes. They have 3 electoral votes. Why is that?
Three.
Nobody lives there.
This is the biggest state in the U.S., and they have one of the least amount of electoral votes.
Yeah.
Marcus, why is that?
Why
This
is
is
that?
less, this is
Because-
less population.
Yeah.
Less of population.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
I feel like
It's cold.
I feel
Yeah,
like
no,
most
you're
of
right.
Alaska moved to further into the states.
Say it one more time.
I feel like Alaskan people moved further into the states.
I mean, honestly, let's be real. Alaska, let's be real. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Alaska. Come on. I mean, obviously, they're gonna have the weak ones out of everybody up there.
Yeah.
Because of population or
The
why?
Population.
Population, because it's too cold over there.
It's too cold
Yeah.
over there.
It's also far. It's far away from everything. I mean, you're pretty. I mean,
You're around ice and water and ice.
yeah. The population is very small compared to many other states in the
Very
U.S.
small. That's it.
Next question.
So, in the United States, each state's number of electoral votes equals its total number of senators and representatives in the Congress. Every state has 2 senators, and the number of representatives is based on the state's population. So, which state do you think is going to have the most representatives if it's based on population?
Based on population.
If based on that, and it's still
Property taxes.
Like
Well,
Texas.
more
Didn't we just say that Cali had the biggest population?
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not saying it's still the Cali.
It's still be Cali.
Yeah, it's
So
still-
Cali has the most representatives because they have the biggest population.
That is true.
Okay,
Plus all the cities too.
what's up?
That's all the cities too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot of cities there. Name me a city in California. Go, Ethan.
LA.
What?
The city?
Yeah.
San Francisco.
Name me one. Name me a city in
Hollywood. Montreal. Wait, Montreal?
I mean, Hollywood's in a city.
I mean, it's in the city.
Which city?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know any cities.
Where do the Lakers play?
The Lakers. The Lakers play.
Isn't that your team, Marcus?
Yeah, chill. Hold on.
They
Yeah,
over-
chill. I haven't seen them in a while. Hold on. Ever since they changed.
What's their sign?
LA.
LA.
Yeah.
What was LA stand
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Los
Okay, that's beside the point. I just wanted to, Okay, so now that we know that the population that has the most representatives, they get the most electoral votes. The bigger population, the better your state is off during elections. So, like we talked about before, California being the most popular state has 54, and this has 55 electoral votes. It changes like every year because they recount the populations, and so
How do they count by the person who's in like each population?
say one more time.
How can they count the people that's in each state?
How can they count?
Yeah.
They go by districts,
Oh.
and so they count in each district, and they kind of do like a rough estimate of what it probably looks like. Obviously, they don't go to like every house and like, well, they kind of do. In some places, they do go to every house and say, how many people live here? Or like, there's like forms that people fill out, and they're like that you might just send in where it's like, we have 4 people living at this house, we have 7 people living at this house, and they count up all these people. And so it's probably not like 100% accurate, but it's fairly close.
I would've been guessing. Yeah, like, yo, bro, what? Marcus. Your sandwiches has never been that good, but though we finna go to lunch in an hour or so. Hungry.
So in total, there's 538 electoral votes. Do you know how many it takes for president to be elected? How many do they need?
Elective votes
No,
or just votes?
just votes, or like votes electorally. Yeah, so yeah, electoral votes. Yeah. There's a certain number that that the president needs to reach.
And then like,
Can you give like a specific number?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll be giving you the answer, but
like 30 or 40 or something like that.
there's 538 votes. So if you count up all these votes, there'd be 538 of them.
Oh.
So they're gonna have majority of the votes, basically. That's what you're
Correct. They have to have the majority. So it's going to be kind of halfway. If the answer is 270. Once a president reaches 270 electoral votes, the election is over. The other candidate cannot win. So that's why when the elections come around, you see race to 270. That's what they talk about. It's the race to 270.
So, bro, so
Oh, that's how
he
Trump
win
won?
then? He only had 219.
Yeah, where'd you see that?
She was at 220. She had 226.
Where'd you see that?
Hey.
This was a mock draft.
Oh, that's a mock.
Yeah.
It's 2 drafts.
Well, that's right. A mock. This is like prediction. This was a prediction
predict.
before the election actually happened. So this is the most recent election. We can use this one too. So this was what would have happened if Kamala Harris ended up winning. She would have had to win Oregon and Washington and California, Colorado, New Mexico, all that jazz. And you see how like some states are like more red than others.
Mhm.
So the redder the state, I think in this, it just like shows like how close it is to becoming like official.
Big impact.
I need real stuff.
What?
I need real stuff.
No, you're fine. Come on.
But a lot of the states, like these states right here, these yellow ones, they're called swing states.
I'll see y'all when I get back.
You know what a swing state is? So a swing state are states. So usually, states vote the exact same way because the people there like don't really change too much. So California always goes blue. New York always goes blue. Texas always goes red. So you have these like states that are very like you know exactly which way they're gonna vote. South Carolina is always gonna vote red. But which each year there's a couple of states that come out as like some people like the Democrat Party, some people like the Republican Party. It's gonna be a tight race. So you see these presidential nominees going to these states and having like a lot more meetings there and outings there, trying to get people involved, trying to meet people, talk to people, get them on their side so they can win their side. So Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, they were all swing states this year. These are big states to be having your campaigns in because they could have gone either way. I believe North Carolina ended up going red. I don't remember where the other ones went. I think Nevada ended up going blue maybe, but swing states are kind of they're important. in each one.
Dang, Las Vegas.
Trump. What you mean, Trump? Bro, why everybody want?
Why are you saying Trump for, Jonathan?
Bro, it's like why Trump?
What do you mean, why Trump?
And why like he got all that red, but that's unfair, bro.
Yeah?
We need to spread the horizons, bro. Everybody need to.
When you can vote next year.
That lady's
Oh,
racist.
what I just do?
You clicked it by accident.
Oh, well, we can use this. That's fine. We can sit right here.
Oh my god, that was a good accent there.
Yeah, that was a good accent. Okay. So we're gonna move on from this.
All she needed was 44. We could have. Nah, she would give us extra like 2 hours of school though. We wasn't having that. I'm not staying to no 7-bit dog. You sure?
No, she's also racist too.
Racist to black people? I mean.
I just heard that she's racist. I'm not sure.
So you
Okay.
You think she's?
So we're gonna come back to this. So make sure that you guys are learning.
Oh, we still gonna put her.
Oh yeah, I had come for
Why does California have more votes than a state like North Carolina?
that. Population.
First of all, we smaller than that place.
Jonathan, why does California have more electoral votes than North Carolina?
I thought I asked this question.
You did. I'm just saying you remember.
Oh, because the population bigger.
Good job. Well done. Yeah. And it has more representatives because it has a bigger population.
Wait, where we at again?
North Carolina? You know where North
Oh,
Carolina?
right here. Yeah, right there. Right there.
California?
NC, I didn't see the NC part.
California is like 3 times bigger than North Carolina. Bro.
So, which state has the lowest amount of votes?
Oh, whatever this
These
supposed to mean.
awful memory.
Whatever that
Yeah,
supposed
these
to
ones
mean.
don't have theirs. If I went back out, oh, you're already seeing that. If I went back out to here, oh, you can't see these on there. Can you see them on here? You can kind of.
Blurry.
Yeah, it's pretty blurry. Here, you can look at this one.
Yeah, it's still weird.
It's a little blurry, huh? Still a little blurry.
I see 3 and
Yeah, you see 3?
I'm
Here, this one's good, I think.
That's exactly.
Well, the lowest amount of electoral votes that a state can have is 3.
Oh, yeah.
So
the WY one.
Wyoming.
Yeah.
Wyoming.
Wyoming has 3. Alaska has 3. You come up to the east side, you see the smaller states. Rhode Island has 4 actually. Delaware has 3. Well, Rhode Island's the smallest state in the U.S. So,
It's all
Washington D.C. They technically get a
free pass.
yeah, because they're not part of any state technically. But there's a bunch of people from the U.S. living there, and it's part of the U.S. So they get their own electoral votes, which is 3.
Washington?
Washington D.C.
Really?
Yeah, so they get 3 as well.
Have a lot of population, they still have.
Yeah, they do. But it's such a small,
Okay, it's small size.
yeah, small size. So they only have 3 electoral votes.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh, like Montana?
Like, I think
Maine,
Say it one more.
Maine,
Mid,
state.
Minnesota,
Maine state, the Maine state, Maine.
Montana.
State.
No, Maine in the top.
State, like the government.
Maine state, you know?
Minnesota?
No, not Minnesota, Maine, small, very.
Maine.
Right.
Maine. Yeah, Maine has 4. So electoral votes change
Correct.
every year because populations might increase
Right.
or decrease.
Right,
And we need to have at least 538.
correct.
So Maine that year had 4. So
Correct.
Maine actually had more electoral votes than Washington D.C.
Really?
Which is an interesting thing about because when you think about Washington D.C., that's where everything goes down.
Right,
So it's pretty interesting to think about.
I know.
Vermont had 3. So a lot of the smaller states have very little. Do you know why? Ethan, you want to take a guess on why that each state gets 3? Like, why doesn't the state have 1 electoral vote or 2?
It's required.
Well, why? Why is it required?
Wait, what was the question? I don't know. I didn't hear it.
I know that.
Why does each state, and I don't expect you guys to know this answer, but it'll be, if you do know it,
That's cool.
yeah, that's cool. Why does each state get 3 electoral votes? Like, I was saying, Ethan, like, why doesn't the state just get 1? Like, if Alaska has the smallest population in the U.S., which I'm not for sure, I don't think it does, but if it did, why doesn't it just get 1 electoral vote? Like, why does it get 3? I don't expect you guys to know this, but I expect you guys to remember it.
I know you said it, but
No, I haven't said it yet. I'm about to say it right now. Every state automatically gets 2 votes based off their 2 senators. Each state in the U.S. has 2 senators to represent their state. So whenever they have like big senator meetings, and like each state brings in their 2 senators to talk to the rest of the senators from the U.S. So they get 2 votes. Every state gets
Even it is small.
even if they're small. Rhode Island, 2 senators. California, 2 senators.
So nobody don't got more than 2 senators? Just 2 senators?
Yeah. So there's 100 senators in the U.S. There might be 102. I'm not sure about D.C. I'm not sure how D.C. works. with
there's
their
probably a
senators.
lot in DC.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that maybe there's some senators that live there, but I don't know if D.C. has their own question.
You know what's so crazy?
What's up?
It's only but so many votes. So we got a lot of people on Earth though. Like we got a lot of people. It's only like 200 something. What's that word again?
Electoral votes?
Yeah, electoral votes.
Well, this is not population. There's a difference between the popular vote and the electoral vote. We're gonna get into that though. We're gonna get into that. So each state gets 3 votes, and we talked about how do they get 2 of them?
By the senators.
Correct. And they get their other vote, at least 1 electoral vote for having at least 1 representative in the House. This guarantees that even the least populated states have a minimum of 3 electoral votes. So there must be at least 1 electoral vote, or you must have at least 1 representative in the House from your state. So I assume like some states like Maine might have 2, maybe like New Hampshire has 2, because you would assume that their population would be pretty low, but they have 4 electoral votes. So I assume they may have 2 representatives in the office. So looking at this, looking at like electoral votes, how do you think that affects an election?
Because electoral votes have more power, right?
They do have a lot of power. But if I'm Kamala Harris, and I'm looking at this map, and I'm looking at California, and I'm looking at New Hampshire, which state do you think I'm going to campaign at? Regardless of like this is a bad example because California is basically always going to go blue, but let's say like it wasn't guaranteed to go blue. And let's say New Hampshire wasn't guaranteed to go a certain color. What state am I going to campaign at knowing that New Hampshire is 4 electoral votes and California's 54?
I ain't gonna lie, me personally, I think
Population wise.
But if I'm president nominee,
Uh-huh.
like I'm running,
Uh-huh.
and let's say that California is a 50-50 right now,
Right.
and let's say New Hampshire's 50-50 right now,
Right.
and I want to get both those states, but I can only go to one, and I see that New Hampshire has 4 electoral votes, but California has 54. Which state do you think I should go to?
More votes.
Which the one that has more electoral votes?
Let's see it.
Yeah, you're right. That's completely right. I should be going. I want to get as many electoral votes as possible. So
Right.
I'm going to campaign the states that have the most electoral votes. New York, California, Texas. I want to win those states.
Yeah. 'Cause
I'm going to go to those states.
I don't like losing. So yeah, I pick the winning side.
Yeah. So a lot of president nominees, they don't go to places like Delaware or Vermont. Because like, in the long run, 3 electoral votes probably is not going to help me too much. Even though I want to win every state I can, I'm going to go after like a Nevada or a North Carolina where they have 15-8, where those are a little bit bigger, where those will make a difference in your election. Your 3 like electoral vote states, they're not really going to make that much of a difference. Usually like it's not that close with electoral votes, where it's like oh, like this person has like 168 and this person or 268 and this person has 270, and if all they did was win Vermont, they would have won. It's not really like that. Usually there's like a 40 electoral vote gap. Like with this most recent election, let's see if we can look it up. Trump versus Harris electoral votes.
Can I use the restroom?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll just talk to Ethan, I guess.
Leave me some questions.
Well, so I'll leave you some questions, Jonathan. Don't worry about it.
Alright,
Just come back so you don't miss anything.
okay.
Okay, Ethan, you're with me then.
Alright.
Let's see. I want to see how many. This is pretty cool. So, alright. So this most recent election, it was fairly close, but Trump still won by, what is that, 80 something electoral votes?
Between 80 and 90.
But look at the popular vote. Trump won 49.8% of the popular vote. Kamala Harris was at 48%. She was only
5.8%.
Only 2 million more people voted for Donald Trump. But he won around 80 more electoral votes. Because we don't use popular vote in this country.
Right.
No way.
Do you know why? Like, do you think that we should, like, use popular vote? Do you think that, you don't think so? Do you think we should use electoral? Why is that?
Because people have different opinions on each president.
Mhm.
So I don't think they're gonna use that in the election.
Yeah. But saying that, don't you believe that let's say that we're in this classroom and there's like 4 students and 3 of them want to go get lunch and 1 wants to stay in and do more work. If we're looking at the popular vote, then we're going to go get lunch because 3 against 1. But let's say those 3 people were Vermont. Let's say they were your friends. Let's say they were your friends in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. And the one that wants to stay in is California. Now if we look at the electoral votes, California has way more than those 3 states combined. So we're staying in. Do you think that's fair? Even though it's 3 against 1?
I don't know.
So electoral votes, usually states have their own opinion. So with California, like I said, it always goes blue. So a lot of people in that state and like have like very similar opinions to each other. Where a lot of people from like Florida are gonna have different opinions, but they're gonna have similar opinions to each other. So it became to the point where it wasn't fair to use the popular vote because you'd have like a lesser population in like the smaller countries in the US, like Kansas, not smaller in size, but smaller in population wise, where Kansas and Nebraska and South Dakota and Iowa, Missouri, they were all like getting, like the popular vote was kind of harsh on them because everybody, there's such a big population in California, and they all think the same, that they were having so many more like people voting for them. Where in these lesser states where they follow like different laws, they were kind of getting left hanging because they didn't have as many people in these states. So we switched to electoral votes. And I'm gonna tell you why we did that. So the Electoral College was created to make sure both big and small states have a say in choosing the president. Instead of just counting every individual vote across the whole country, the system gives each state a certain number of votes based on how many people live there. This way, candidates have to care about winning support from many different parts of the country, not just the big cities, California, New York, Florida, Texas, or the most populated states. It was a compromise between letting Congress pick the president and letting the people vote directly. So you kind of get that a little bit?
Yeah.
So why are we using electoral?
What was the question?
I said why are we using electoral and not popular votes?
It's because the popular votes are unfair.
Why are they unfair?
Because,
Who are they unfair to?
I would say the election.
They're unfair towards smaller states. Bigger states who have bigger populations get more out of voting for the president than the smaller states. And still, you could be like, well, then they still get more because California has 54 electoral votes and New Hampshire only has 3. So like they're still getting more, but it's such a deficit where New Hampshire's population is probably like
A lot less.
Right.
it's way less. I mean, California, I don't want to say an exact number because I know I'm going to be wrong, but California probably has times like 15 amount of people that New Hampshire has. So yeah. So I have a task to do, but I wanted to do it in Jonathan back. Do you guys have your computers here with you?
Yeah.
Think Jonathan has a computer?
I'm pretty sure. I feel like
What questions?
I have a group task that I wanted them to do,
Oh, okay.
but I need Jonathan to kind of come back.
Alright.
I feel like most people that live in California are moving out because of a price or mortgage or something.
Yeah, I mean, people are moving in, people are moving out. California's, I mean, it's pricey, man. It's definitely pricey, but people are always gonna live in California. Can you go check on Jonathan real fast and bring him back? Yeah, just say go tell him to come back real fast.
Oh, he just came up.
Okay, perfect. Jonathan, you have a computer with you?
Huh?
You have a computer?
Yeah.
Bring it up. I'm gonna have you guys do a little task for me. I need you guys to get your computer, pencil, and a piece of paper. Ooh, Marcus, just in time, man.
What's that?
Laptop,
I need you to
paper.
get your laptop out, a piece of paper, and a pencil.
Alright.
And let's do this quickly so we can get on top of this.
I have my dad off.
This is gonna be a grade for your class, by the way. I talked to Mr. Muir, he wants to make us a grade, so. He's gonna grade like how well you guys do this assignment. It's not a hard assignment. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Yeah. It's just a little researching. So what? Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, you're good. Thank you. So once you have your computer out, the task that you guys are gonna do is you guys are gonna choose. Yeah, it's right here. You guys are gonna choose 2 states. It can be any state you want in the U.S. And you're gonna write your 2 states down in your paper. So you're gonna write like whatever and whatever. And I want you guys to find the population. I want you guys to find. I'll write it down before. Okay. So population. The number of your electoral votes in your state.
No,
What's up, Ethan?
I turned in my test by accident.
Okay. We'll do this for now, and then we'll add on to it. So I'm gonna be coming around. I need you guys to find 2 states that it can be any state. You might have interest in it, you might not. It might have a funny name, and you want to write on your paper. You may have visited a state, it could be the state you live in. You good, Ethan?
I'm too sure about my grade.
Well, focus on that after. Focus on that at lunch, because I need you to do this for me. Do you know what you're doing? What are you doing?
Writing down 2 states.
Mm-hmm. Write down. Just find your states for now, and then we'll. Once you find your states, let me know, and I'll come over. Kamala Harris, Donald Trump. Are your 2 nominees for president of the United States?
Alright, I got my 2.
You got your 2? Which 2 are you doing?
New York and Florida.
Good states. I want you to look up on your computer, look up population of New York. It doesn't need to be exact, but it needs to be like whatever it says you just write down. Mark, get your computer up.
Yep.
We'll close the door.
You want to write down a number?
Whatever says the population, that should give you like a big number. Definitely for New York, should be a pretty big number. Jonathan, name me a city in New York.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, Bronx, Nevada. Wait, no, not Nevada.
I
Harlem.
mean, that's more of a borough though, right?
One Towns.
Isn't Brooklyn a borough or is it a city? I think
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn's
main
a
spot
city.
of the
Yeah, Brooklyn. City.
Boroughs.
Harlem.
Yeah, Harlem's a borough, I believe. Ethan, how we doing? Find 2 states?
Nevada and Cali.
Okay, so I want you to look up California population. Marcus, you know what we're doing?
What we doing on space soon?
I want you to find.
States are involved.
Get a paper and a pencil out. You might want to sit at a desk. Let me know when you find your states or your populations.
I got both of mine.
You got it? What's population Florida?
For Florida?
Mhm.
23.37 million.
What about New York?
8.2 million.
That's all right. Ethan, how we doing? What?
There's no. For California, I got 39 million.
Okay, do, now find for Nevada. Marcus, so I need you to find 2 states. Just pick 2 states and write it down in your paper.
Alright.
Easy enough. Okay, you. Now that you've had your populations, I want you to go and look up how many electoral votes each of your states has. So look up California, number of electoral votes, Florida, number of electoral votes, and just write it down.
How do you spell that word?
Electoral? E-L-E-C-T.
Oh.
You see it?
Yeah.
Jonathan, what states are we choosing? Or Marcus, what states are we choosing?
Washington and Michigan.
Are they written down in your paper?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I want you to look up the population for Washington,
Okay.
and then look up the population for Michigan, and let me know when you do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You wanna write down a number?
Did you write in the electoral votes?
Okay.
Write those down. Write down, find your electoral votes. It should pop up when you look at it. Like, you shouldn't be like looking that hard.
You gotta put in a number.
You find your population
Yeah.
for both?
Mm-hmm.
What's the population of Washington?
678,172. Michigan is 10.14 million.
Good. I want you to find their electoral votes. So look up Michigan electoral votes,
Okay.
What's up, party people?
and then look up Washington electoral votes. I've been doing their little group assignment right now. They're looking at 2 different states, finding their population and their electoral votes.
Ah,
And then they're gonna tell me why, or how those 2 things influence campaign strategies.
Well, you said electoral,
womp,
so like
womp, womp.
What's your question?
Look at all those swing
the
states.
electoral votes. So I just look up electoral votes for Michigan.
Yeah, look up Michigan number of electoral votes, and look up Washington number of electoral votes, and just write down your paper, and let me know when you're done. Jonathan, let me see those electoral votes, man. Florida has 30. New York has 28. Is that really what Florida was? It only had 30 this year?
Cornell West got 12,000 votes.
Okay. So now what you're gonna do is you see the electoral votes and you see the populations for both. You're gonna tell me, how that might influence campaign strategies. Do you know what that means?
No.
So campaign strategy is when a presidential nominee is running, they have a campaign, and they decide different things on what they want to do based on two things to think about is population and electoral votes. And so yours are in New York and Florida.
Your campaign strategy is your strategy to win.
Mm-hmm.
What are they gonna do to win?
Oh.
What?
So knowing that Florida has 30 electoral votes and New York has 28 electoral votes, what would you do if you were running? Would you visit these states?
Oh, no.
Would you not visit them?
I'll visit them.
Write down, give me like 3 sentences. Or give me like 3 reasons
Okay.
of why you would visit them, or like why you would do something else.
You want to do something?
Keyboard? Why would you trying to do? I think if you like go up to the search bar, you can like get a
Yeah,
keyboard.
visiting shots. Physical.
Oh, no, I didn't see one. Oh, I guess, yeah, there's one right here. I don't know.
Well, I didn't know if it's turned on or hooked up. Probably not. I think I lost the tab.
Mouse.
There's a mouse here if you want
There's a mouse.
Yeah, thank you.
to. Tell me the electoral votes.
54 and
54 for California and 6 for Nevada?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want you to do the same thing that Jonathan's doing, where if you were running for president and you had a campaign, knowing the population and knowing the electoral votes, how would that influence your campaign decisions? What would you do?
I would.
Write about Nevada and write about California.
Okay.
Just give me like 3 reasons, or like three things of what you would do. Very simple. Marcus, where are you? Tell me your electoral votes.
Electoral votes for Michigan is 15.
Mhm.
Washington is 12.
Okay, so same thing with them two are doing. I need 3 reasons,
3 reasons, okay.
or 3 things that you would do based on this information if you were running for president and you had a campaign.
Okay.
You're more than welcome to use the internet to look up ideas. You're more than welcome to use my question. You can say based on population, what would a campaign do, and then you can write in your state. And see what kind of information that gives you. I welcome ChatGPT. That helps. As long as you guys get a better understanding. And this will be the last thing I have you guys doing, and then we can call it a lesson.
I hope they have something good for me.
What's a better way that I can phrase
By
it?
county. 2020 by county. 2024 by county.
Look at California. Look at the change in California.
It's nuts.
Yeah, you see that? Yeah.
That was wild. And there too. Tightened up quite a bit. Everything's tightened up.
What's a better way that I can phrase my question? 'Cause I feel like the question
What's
I
the
asked,
question?
I had them look up their population and look up their electoral votes for 2 different states,
Mhm.
and then I asked them how would that influence their campaign strategies if they were to run for president. But I feel like that's kind of a tough question, just knowing that those two information.
Jonathan, do you want to ask ChatGPT a better way to phrase that question?
I'm trying to figure out this one.
I welcome it. I mean,
That's
as
fine.
long as you're learning, it's.
I would say. I would keep it basic. I wouldn't go at state level. I'd say how does how does the number of electoral votes by state affect how a president's going to plan?
And we kind of talked about this a little bit. We talked about how I brought up the idea that if, let's say California was a swing state one year, which it will never be, but let's say it was, and New Hampshire was also a swing state, knowing that California had 54 electoral votes and New Hampshire had 4 electoral votes, what state am I probably going to campaign at? Yeah.
Now, you only said when it's a swing state. Here's a question. So, California, big state, right? How many electoral votes? Did anyone find that one?
54.
Crazy, right? 54, huge number. Do you think anyone's going to campaign really hard in California, though?
I would.
Yeah? How was California historically voted? It's been blue. It's been as blue can be. California is forever blue. Right?
Yeah.
If you are a Democrat, not that you leave California alone, but you only have so much time and so many resources.
So maybe a better question is if we looked at actual swing states.
Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, North Carolina, Florida. Those are the big ones. Decent sized states. Sometimes they're blue, sometimes they're red. You clicked the wrong thing.
Yeah,
Cancel out that.
I did click the wrong thing.
Right? The swing states. North Carolina's a swing state. We'll go for Trump 1 year, then we'll go for Biden, then we'll go back to Trump. New York doesn't swing. It
What-
doesn't.
Jonathan, what party does New York usually go? Does it go blue or red? Normally.
Red.
You guys red?
Oh no, blue, yeah,
Blue.
Yeah, blue.
Blue. And here's the thing, did we talk about rural versus urban?
We did not really talk about that, but we can.
You guys get computers in front of you. Someone look up the population in New York State.
Somebody news.
You do New York State, you do New York City.
Dang, New York City is that much?
What is this?
It's so annoying. It's because I'm not keyed in on that board,
I know, I had
which
to-
I never do.
When Jeremiah's here, he saw me one time.
State?
So New York State is 8.2 million people. You got city for me? There you go.
You sure?
Oh yeah, I forgot to push state. Is it
Oh,
19?
we
It's
got
19,
There we go. So what's the state?
19.87 million.
The state, right, if I look at a map of New York, who's got a good map of New York? You've got a good map of New York. Goodness gracious, shut up. Here, this one, that's a great map of New York. If I look at New York, make it big. This is New York,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
New York City, right here, okay? You got the islands, you got the 5 boroughs of New York City, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Staten Island, right? You got all your big city right here. Ah. You have half your population on that island,
Mm-hmm.
okay? But look at the size of New York. Look how big New York is.
Compared to other.
Look how red the majority of New York is. It's red, right?
Yeah.
It's predominantly red, except we've got 9 million people right here. Probably another 2 or 3 here and here,
Oh.
in those 2 big cities and in Albany.
So what do you guys notice about the little spots that are blue? What's different about the ones that are red?
Yeah, that's population.
Well, what do you see?
Yeah, less population.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can also see that these are the big cities are Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Albany. These are big cities in New York. You don't see any cities on the reds.
Nope, and you guys are gonna see it more when I'm gonna make you understand it in context that you see and you know. Let's look at North Carolina. It's predominantly red, isn't it? Where is it blue? Charlotte, Winston, Greensboro, Raleigh, Durham, Fayetteville, Asheville. Those are all our biggest cities. Right?
Yeah.
Those are all our biggest cities. If you leave our cities, right, we live in High Point, drive south. Get on 109, go down. Go into Archdale. Go into Thomasville. You don't see a lot of Trump signs down there, right? Go into Lexington. You're gonna see it down there. When you come back up into the city,
I've seen so many down there.
Marcus, why do you think that is?
Well, I think that is
Why do you think that the cities all go blue?
because they have more population and mostly the rest is like.
Remember, blue is different.
less.
Dude, blue is
It's like mostly
more.
less, and the blue ones, they probably have more population than.
yeah, but why? But why would a higher concentration of people lean one way politically? Right? Just because I put a bunch of people in one place doesn't mean they agree.
Yeah.
Why is that the case?
There's many different reasons.
Many different reasons. Can anyone give me any guesses?
They probably don't like it, or, wait,
Do people in the city live the same life as people in the country?
No.
What's different?
Everything.
yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. When you're in a city, you're surrounded by buildings, you're surrounded by, I don't mean to hijack your lesson, by the way, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, it's all good.
You're surrounded by the city.
Mhm.
Your government does a ton for you. Traffic lights, streets, police force, fire, all of these things are large pieces of the city. When you're out in the country, your interaction with the government is pretty limited. It's the road, it's the mailman who comes by. You've got a fire department, but it's probably like 3 guys, you know?
Yeah.
How many people way out in the country you think collect government assistance?
How many people that like
Not
collect
Like food stamps and stuff like that.
food?
I think they grow their own.
Well, some of them grow their own food, but traditionally, it's less people, because in a city, there's a bigger system in place. So if you're hungry and jobless, and you're down in Lexington or Thomasville,
Mhm.
but you know, oh, up in High Point, they've got meals on Mondays at this place, and Tuesday, this church does this, and Wednesday, I can go here, and yeah, right? There's more to choose from, there's more options. It brings people in,
Well, it gathers everybody's attention, basically.
Yeah, but it gets their attention and it brings them in. And
Better lifestyle.
people, now here's, so we're delineating between the types of people that live in 2 different places, but that doesn't necessarily tell me much about their view of the government. Well, here's the big difference. When we get into politics, we can pick apart the differences in the party, but there's the fundamental difference in politics comes down to one thing. Is the Democrats believe that the government should be more involved in helping in your life. And the Republicans believe that the government should be more hands-off and not involved in your life. Fundamentally, that's what you're gonna break every single issue down to. So, if you're collecting government food checks, if you're in government housing, if you're getting all of this from the government, you're on government roads,
Can you believe
are
it?
you gonna vote for that, or are you gonna vote to get rid of those things?
Me personally?
Well, what do you read for things?
If you were living
If
in,
you're benefiting from that system,
Behind the wall.
you're gonna vote to keep that system in place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just a piece of it, that's not the deciding factor. Me and him were talking about other factors earlier. Colleges are in cities. Young kids, when you get out of high school and you go to college, really, when you get out of high school for the first next 6 to 7 years of your life, traditionally go Democrat. They just do. They've been following social media, they're doing what they think is like good, helpful for the world, and it's a more empathetic view of the world. So colleges lean left. Colleges are in cities, therefore cities lean more left. Right? A lot of factors in here. Race is a factor. Cities, more people of color, more immigrants, more black people, more Hispanic people. Traditionally, they vote more Democrat.
Okay. Democrat and what's the other one again?
Republican.
Okay.
which candidate is Republican?
Can I have Republican?
Red.
Red, which is that Kamala Harris or
On the
Trump?
board behind you.
Trump.
Trump.
So which nominee was Democrat?
Kamala.
So to wrap up this lesson, I need to hear from each person one thing about what you learned and what you thought was interesting, or something that maybe you didn't know before. Starting off with Marcus.
Okay, I didn't know Alaska had the least population out of everybody out there.
Yes, we were looking at the different electoral votes from each state, and we talked about how Alaska is the biggest state in the United States, and it only has 3 electoral votes. And why is that, Marcus? Even though it's the biggest state, it only has 3 because of
Less people.
population.
Population. Yeah.
Ethan, you're up.
Oh, I didn't know the system went by electoral votes.
Mhm. Are you talking about the difference between the popular vote and the electoral votes?
Yeah.
Me and Ethan, Jonathan went to the bathroom, me and Ethan had a good discussion about the difference between popular
Yeah.
votes and electoral votes.
I should be here then.
Do we understand why electoral votes are necessary?
Yes.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right? Because we want to represent the whole country. And the country is not just the amount of people, it's the physical country. Right? If we let the population decide, Los Angeles and New York would literally decide our elections. Because so many people live there.
We need to talk about how states like Iowa or Kansas or Nebraska are at such a disadvantage compared to states like California and New York who share similar beliefs to each other, but different beliefs to states that have less of a population, or like in the middle country states usually think differently than states on the outsides. Jonathan, you're up. Last thing.
I never knew really much of a difference of Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah.
We'll have to go into that more together.
Yeah, there's lots of.
We'll have to dive deep.
Yeah.
That's Guilford County right there. Guilford County, home to Greensboro, home to High Point. We went 60 to 38, 171,000 to 109,000 for Kamala Harris. You drive 15 minutes up, go to Rockingham County. Pretty big shift, isn't it?
Yeah.
Different style of life, different type of people. Less people though, like significantly less, right? They want 67%, and they only got 33,000.
Also, I want to know from your guys' opinions. Looking at this, let's say you wanted to. Let's say you were a Democrat, so you were blue, and you wanted to change one of these districts. What would you do?
Oh, we're gonna get into gerrymandering?
I just want to know
We're
this.
gonna have a party.
That is the lesson. Thank you guys for participating in that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's quick talk about